Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belong to all of us. We have a stake here. We have an interest in this place we call home. And we must ensure that we make it better, not just for us, but for our children and children. We have a responsibility to enhance it, to build upon it, so that they will enjoy something better. When they assess, when they evaluate, when they look back, they would say, yes, we tried, or we did X or Y to make it better for them. And they will take it from there, because they too have a responsibility to continue enhancing it, continue transforming it. And we are not naive to believe that everyone wants good for you, for your community, or for the country. There are people with sinister intent. There are people with hidden agendas. And they would do everything on the project site to derail, to delay, to disrupt, to make sure that the project doesn't come to completion, or the project would have some challenges, constant challenges. They would try their best to achieve that. But be that as it may, we still have to continue to enhance our country, build our country, make our country better. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belong to all of us, and we have to work towards building it. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour. Again, another opportunity that you and I have to talk using social media and radio to connect. I want to encourage you to share the live. Sharing is caring. You see, what we do here is engage in a serious intellectual conversation. And I am well aware, Grenadians, they love drama, they love a little bacchanal every now and then. I am aware of that. And there are some people who exploit that, right? They exploit that. They know that Grenadians like that kind of thing every now and then, so they exploit it. But just do an assessment. Check it out. When the same people try to engage in serious conversation, in meaningful conversation, the people who they tend to get to view them are very few. Very few people will view them. But if it's something like a bacchanal, a TB, a melee, a drama, come on, right? It's kind of expected. But when it comes to serious conversations, you don't get many people going at it. And that is why I always say to people, it's not just the now, but the medium to long term. Let us see. I want to start off by saying, and when I say I want to start off, I'm talking about the meat of this morning's conversation. When the Honorable Andy Williams said yes, we could go ahead and rush and build something temporary. We could go ahead and rush and do things in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, in St. Patrick, and in St. Mark. But it is wiser to plan and do the thing good. We're actually seeing that playing out now, because the NNP, they were saying, well, do it quick, right? Do it temporary. Spend money and do temporary stuff. And they keep complaining and talking and, speaking bad about government. Why are they taking so long? Why are they not doing this so? And why are they not doing that so? But now we are seeing that it's a wise move to plan properly and then execute. We saw a planning / CDMA training. So planning and development, I think it's the Planning and Development Authority and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. They came together and they organized this very important training where they're actually helping our builders, our contractors, our people to build back better and use the right building codes, right? The smart, resilient way to build. And I think that's a good move. So when I saw that and I saw my good partner, Kester Craig there, I think he's the deputy at CDMA now. When I knew him, he was the deputy in Guyana, right? The Disaster Management Authority or agency there in Guyana. He's a really brilliant chap. So when I saw that, I was really impressed because it's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Engineers and local contractors will soon be better equipped to rebuild after a disaster. This follows their completion of a one-week workshop organized by the Ministry of National Security, Planning and Development Authority, and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. The workshop is part of an early recovery capacity building initiative aimed at constructing resilient infrastructure through effective practices. Member of the Planning and Development Authority Board of Directors, Nicole Gillano, told participants that very soon building for a sustainable future will have real meaning with effective implementation of practices. The authority will take deliberate action and monitor building projects to ensure compliance.
Although the code is suitable for the design of all buildings, to expedite the reconstruction after PDA may not necessarily be able to enforce its use for small, single-family domestic accommodation. However, homeowners are encouraged to use the OECS building guidelines published in 2018. These OECS building guidelines should be also listed in the regulation. This will assist homeowners in ensuring compliance when post-construction enforcement occurs. As a guide, during the reconstructive period, all new buildings and all buildings where there are repairs to damage of more than 25% of the pre-burial buildings should be subject to formal building control. Control should be of two types. A, institutional, commercial, and individual buildings should be subject to control by check consultants on behalf of the PDA and in accordance with clauses 104.1 to 104.5 of the OECS Building Code. Other buildings, especially in Carriacou, should be subject to controlled development and will be monitored by officers from the PDA. These officers should be available to review plans, meet with the designers to discuss and agree changes, make field inspections during construction, and advise the builders where necessary on improvements.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Caroline McQuilkin, said following a rapid needs assessment of the housing sector, it became critical to host the workshop. She is optimistic that the workshop will address deficiencies within the housing sector.
It is important to note that a rapid needs assessment was completed on the housing sector, and the findings from this report provided for the implementation of a targeted approach to addressing the deficiencies within the housing sector. This workshop is one such initiative that will hopefully address some identified deficiencies to facilitate rebuilding resilient structures.
The time has come for a swift action towards building more resilient infrastructure to withstand disasters of any strength. That's according to Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, Deputy Executive Director of SEDIMA.
It's obvious that we are experiencing more storms with greater intensity in the Caribbean region. We do not have to look far to understand the level of destruction that comes with them. Therefore, it cannot be business as usual. And there must be changes in construction approaches to be able to build resiliently and minimize future impacts. I'm very much aware of how committed the decision makers of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique are in building and rebuilding resiliently. This was aptly demonstrated by the immediate acceptance of this offer by the Prime Minister and the swift actions by senior government officials to make this event and the other sessions a reality in less than 2 weeks.
SEDIMA has contracted structural engineer Dr. Grenville Phillips to train artisans and contractors. The sessions will conclude September 13th, 2024.
Yes, so that's tomorrow. Tomorrow, God's willing, they would complete that training. But it's a very important training. Some people underestimate how important that training is, because you want the contractors, you want the builders to build based on the code, right? The required standards and everything like that. So training them, because you see, there will be a lot of people rebuilding their roofs or their homes in Carriacou, in PT Martinique, in St. Patrick, in St. Mark, because government is providing materials for a lot of people. Government also waived nearly all the taxes for so many things: building materials, appliances, vehicle parts, machinery, and we can go on and on. So people would be doing the rebuilding. So if you can train the contractors, train the builders, so that they would build according to the building codes and make sure that they build back stronger. All right. And I'm really happy that the Planning and Development Authority is actually present in Carriacou and PT Martinique. They're working side by side with NADMA, with the other agencies. That's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing, because you want to build back better than before. You see, the NNP, they're playing politics. They want votes. They want people to believe that they know what they're saying. They were pushing for government to build back quickly. In fact, they went ahead to mention temporary, spend the money and do things temporary. But the government is saying, no, we need to plan properly. We need to do this thing properly so we can gain more in the medium to long term. Because remember, we are located in an area where every June the 1st to November 30th, we can be affected or impacted by a hurricane. And they're coming stronger, more powerful. So we have to prepare. We have to build differently. We have to adjust to suit. I heard people saying they they're changing the roof. They're not going down the road of galvanized anymore. There are some people who say they're going back to the old time way of constructing the roof. You know, before you used to hardly see the galvanized. It used to be kind of built in. So you have this concrete all the way around. And you're not seeing the galvanized. And there would be rainwater harvesting and so on. Even if we have technology now and all the nice talk and so on, our great grandparents and so on, and builders and so on, they were actually smart to build, to have rainwater harvesting, and also to protect the roof from the elements. And now you have people saying, well, they want to go back to a similar thing. And it's similar to what the Honorable Andy Williams was talking about. This Build Back Better model home. If you check the roof, how they doing the roof, that's not anything new, because before, Grenadians, builders, homeowners were actually getting roof just like that and building roof just like that. Exactly so. You would hardly see the galvanized. It will be protected kind of right wrong. So I'm saying we have to build back better and smarter. And I think the government is on the right track. They are training contractors and builders to build based on the code, the building code, right? And then they're supplying materials and all the different waivers and incentives that they put on the table. So I'm saying to the NNP, yes, we know you're playing politics, but sometimes it pays to plan 10 times, take time and plan properly, and then you execute. And I think that is what we are seeing at this point in time, because very soon, the first model house in the Build Back Better program will be ready. You could actually go now and see what is taking place with that particular construction. All right? And then I think they're doing 2 in St. Patrick as models, right? And then they're going to launch on the 17th of September, 5 days from today. They're going to launch this project, and you can expect to see in every month or so 80 of those houses constructed in Carriacou, P.T. Martinique, St. Patrick, all put together. So every month they're aiming at constructing 80 of those homes for people who are directly affected by Hurricane Beryl. So don't believe that you could just get a house like that. They are targeting, because remember, they did an assessment, right? A damage needs assessment or damage and needs assessment. So they know how many people suffered level this or level that damage. All right? So there are some people who lost their complete roof. There are some people whose roofs were partially damaged, right? And there are some people who lost their complete home. And there are some who lost maybe a portion of it. It was damaged. So they already know in P.T. Martinique how many people lost their roofs or roof. How many people in Carriacou lost their roof? How many people in St. Patrick lost their roof? Or St. Mark, or St. John, or St. Andrew? They already know that. They already know how many people lost their complete house, like their complete home was destroyed in P.T. Martinique, Carriacou, and in Grenada. So they know. So what they're trying to do now is to build back. And you remember what the government did. The government said, look, we need to start. We are giving you some incentives. All right? So on all building materials for the people of Carriacou, Petite Martinique, and parts of Grenada, once you were impacted directly by Hurricane Beryl, no tax whatsoever on building materials. So lumber, cement, steel, all that stuff. Windows, doors, countertops, stuff for the inside, right? The interior of your home. Cupboards, countertops, all that kind of material. No tax whatsoever. Because you see, when you apply all the taxes, that's when the price of the items or the materials go up instantly. But if you remove it, I was speaking to a friend who works at Hubbard's, and he was saying to me, when you remove all the taxes from the lumber or the cement or the steel, the folks are paying very little for it. Because remember, when they apply the taxes, then the price goes up, right? Goes up. Once they apply all the taxes on the cement or the steel or so on, then the price will increase significantly so. So the government placed that on the table, incentives, saying to people, start. All right? In fact, they do not even have to pay property tax for 2025. That's millions of dollars the government is not or will not be collecting. All the appliances. So your home was impacted, right? Maybe you lost your roof. Maybe part of your house got damaged. So it's kind of expected. Maybe your fridge spoiled, your washing machine, your microwave oven, your TV, right? What else? Other appliances you may have in your home. But the government is saying, well, no taxes on that. You could go and purchase and bring that in and so on. No tax. On the airport, no tax. On the port, no tax on that. Wherever you're bringing it in, it's not attracting taxes. By somebody saying by what percent less. No, remember, if you go on GIS page, you have to understand, and maybe somebody who is accustomed to dealing with taxes and so on, maybe they can enlighten us. Because, for example, VAT, you have to pay 15% VAT on all the items, right? So you're not paying VAT. Then you have the custom service charge. Then you have some other charges and other taxes that's attached to it. So when you add that up, you're talking about a good 20-30% tax removed from the actual cost. So if you spending $1, instead of spending $1 on a normal day, you will spend, let's say, 60 cents or 75 cents or 70 cents or 50-something cents. That is what it means, right? And that's just an example. But somebody could give you something more accurate. Somebody could say, well, boy, this is what I used to pay for X, but this is what I paid for it. So the government actually placed that on the table, saying, make a start now, right? Look at some incentives to encourage you to make the start. And then for the small, medium, and large businesses, the government put $25 million in the Grenada Development Bank to say to those businesses, you can access that money, part loan and part grant. So part loan. So you're going to get a loan, and then you're going to get a grant where you don't have to pay back that money to cushion the effect, right? The impact, to help you to bounce back. And that's very, very important. Very, very important. Yesterday, a good friend called me. She said, Kem Jones, I'm back in Grenada because her house was partially damaged, and the insurance paid her out, right, for her home. And she said to me she already purchased some of the materials and she intends to purchase the rest. You understand? So her home was insured. So she came to collect a check and to start the process. There are a lot of people in Carriacou whose homes were insured. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people in Carriacou and in Petit Martinique. Because if you build a new home, a new house, you must insure it, especially if you're taking a loan. The majority of people who take a loan, there are some people who build cash. I understand that, but still, you want to insure your home. All right? So there are a lot of people who insured their home and they got compensated quickly because, you know, the insurance want to kind of encourage other people to insure. That is why they trying to pay you up quickly and not suffer the same fate like after Hurricane Ivan. A lot of people waited months and months and months and months before they got their check from the insurance companies. All right? So the insurance, they learn. And it could serve as a good encouragement for others to come and take an insurance and be covered, right? To get coverage. So they paid kind of early. Which is good. A lot of people are telling others and saying, hey, well, I got paid from the insurance company. And so that kind of motivating the other people to buy in, to take coverage. And that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. I'm saying again, there are some people who are taking advantage of the incentives placed on the table. So you get that money from the insurance company and the government have incentives on the table for you to take advantage of. So people start building. But the government is also training the contractors, training the builders so that they can build according to the recommended building codes. That's a good initiative. That's a good thing. And then you have the people who really cannot build back their home. The people who really cannot afford to build back their home. The government will build back a home for them. So while the NNP was out there making all kind of noise and making all kind of confusion, TB, Bacchanal and so on, the NDC was planning and they're doing this thing in the right way. And a lot of people are going to tell you they're impressed with the way in which the NDC is going about this, the NDC administration, the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team. They're impressed because they're not whooping. They're planning this thing properly. So you have to look at the sequence of events. Hurricane Beryl devastated Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Damage, wipe out, obliterated. You could use all kind of words. Carriacou and Petit Martinique. All right? And our beloved Prime Minister was on the ball before the hurricane, during the hurricane, and after the hurricane. All the assessments were done. In fact, I went to La Digue. I remembered vividly. And a farmer, my very good friend, he showed me the damages and so on, and he said he was pleasantly surprised that folks from the Ministry of Agriculture came so quickly to assess the damage or the damages on his farm, in his, as we say, garden land, and told him that assistance will come. Right? He was very, very happy with that. I spoke to a fisher. He said he was surprised that the Ministry of Agriculture, the Fisheries Department and so on, they were able to quickly send the people to assess, to evaluate, whether the engine was lost or damaged, whether the boat was damaged, or to do all that assessment. I spoke to my good friend, Neela. She does the CMOS, CMOS harvesting and farming, CMOS farming. And she said they did the assessment with her and she's looking forward to the help, the assistance. And then the government outlined the assistance that will be given to them. And that was really, really good, where farmers with 5 acres and less, they would receive $4,500 to help them. And remember, the farm labor program still going on. The fertilizer concessionary rates, they still getting that. The plant distribution and so on, that's still going on, you know, and a number of other assistance are still continuing. All right. And then farmers with 5 acres, well, above 5 acres, they will get $9,000 as a one-off payment to help them to get back on their feet again. All right. And then the fishers, if you have a damaged engine, they would replace it or fix it if you could fix. If you have a damaged boat, they will help you to fix it. If you're a CMOS farmer, they would help you to get all that is required to get back on your feet again. And that's really good. Really, really good. And I want to applaud the government of Grenada, the NDC administration, because they're working somewhat surgically, like they know what they're about. Forget all the noise. There's a lot of noise out there. Plenty noise. And the NNP, they have not been a responsible opposition. All they do is to make noise and make noise and make noise. And they could see nothing good in anything that the government is doing. They just hate the fact that the NDC is doing it right. So folks, if you take your time and you evaluate what has been happening from day one with this government after the passage of Hurricane Beryl for the people, you would realize that they have been bang on target. Sometimes it's not good to rush. You look at Carriacou, government buildings, they were able to repair the roofs, fix it so that government could continue to operate. Schools, right? You look at the hospital in Carriacou, clinics. Things are happening for the people of Carriacou and the PT Martinique. You know. Everything cannot happen one time. But so far, so good. Public officers are now getting materials to assist them to fix their roofs or their homes. So I want to applaud the government. And I love the model house that they showcased. I love that. The Honorable Andy Williams, you could take a bow. I think you're doing a fantastic job. And that is what we want to see. You're doing a fantastic job. Yes, we know there are people out there making noise, but you're at it. With all the noise, with all the attack, with all the hate, with all the bad press. Because let me tell you this, they are after this government. I mean, they could come after me. I could deal with them. I am not a government minister. I am not working with the government of Grenada. I am volunteering my time and effort. I prefer they deal with me because I could deal with them, right? Because many of them, when it's drama, when it's melee, when it's bacchanal, man, a lot of people would view them. It's not that the people are serious about them or like what they're saying, you know. No. But when they have a serious program to talk about something serious, many people are not going to view them. Many people are not viewing them. Because when you go back and you check the little videos that they did, once it's serious conversation, people don't study them. Something dramatic, totally different. All right? Sometimes you have to bat in your lane. You have to know what you're good at and stick there. But I'm saying all of this to say, I prefer that they attack me because I can deal with them. But when it comes to the ministers of government and our beloved prime minister and so on, doing their work, carrying out their duty, working hard to help people, help communities, transform this place, they're attacking them constantly so. But I'm happy to see that, the model house, it looks way stronger because historically, the studs, the uprights and so on, they would be wood. They would be wood. The corners of the house. And you can, the sides, the walls, as we would say, even if yes, it's board, but they kind of call it walls. The 4 sides or the 5 sides or whatever, or 6 or whatever the amount. So now they're doing it in concrete with steel. The frame itself, the house, concrete. So it's stronger, right? Because one wall or one side could easily be damaged, but that may fall, but the structure will remain. But it's even stronger with all the brace and all the this and all the that. They're using a lot of straps, and so it's a stronger house. And I really, really love that.
Back Better Model House project in Grandence is nearing completion and will be ready for viewing for the September 17th launch. That's according to Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams. The house, which is described as smart, resilient housing, has several features including rainwater harvesting. The project targets households in Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique that were affected by Hurricane Beryl. GIS spoke with Minister Williams, who highlighted the housing design is tailored to address critical needs, offering a solution for impacted communities.
The project have approximately 1 more week for the construction to finish, and then we'll go into the painting and the rainwater harvesting and all these other things. But what we are seeing here, we are seeing a boathouse with a concrete frame. And basically, we are addressing two matters. The first one has to do with the resilience of the house and the structure. We saw after Beryl, a lot of the houses got destroyed and it was flattened. And also, those that were not flattened, the roof was disturbed. Now, this project is addressing those 2 situations. Number one, when you have the concrete frame, it doesn't matter how strong the wind blows, the column will keep the house up. And number 2, we are doing something called a parapet roof. And that roof is somewhat hurricane resistant. And in doing so, we will be addressing the 2 situations at the same time. So the project is going according to plan. It takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks to build a unit.
Minister Williams said the project will also provide employment opportunities for locals.
The beauty about this project is that it provides employment for a number of personnel. It provides employment for the person who is doing the building, who is building the building. Number 2, it provides employment for the person who is painting, and also the person who's doing the plumbing and the person who's doing the electrical. And that's the beauty about it, is that it provides employment for the local contractors and personnel in Grenada.
Yeah, and that's a very good thing, because what they have done is to separate the contracts. So the person who is building the actual house will get a contract, and that person would hire, let's say, 2 carpenters, 2 laborers, maybe a mason, right? And I hope and pray that they mix it up when it comes to gender. Have on every project a female or 2. I would love to see that. All right? And then the person who will be doing the plumbing, that person will get a contract to do the plumbing for that house. Because a complete house, they're giving the people who lost their homes and whose homes were destroyed. So that person again would hire maybe 2 persons or maybe 3 people, right, to do the plumbing work. And then the person doing the electrical work, they will get a separate contract. So you may have 2 or 3 persons, right? So you may have 2 persons or 3 people employed to do the electrical work, but that person getting a contract to do it. And then you have the painter, the person doing the painting. So they may have 2, right? So one person gets the contract and may hire 2 or 3 people to do the painting. So a lot of jobs will be created as a result within that 3-month period. The 3 months, so September, October, November, leading on to December. So a lot of jobs will be created. So the Christmas go nice. And then in the new year, they would continue with such an initiative. And then you heard the Honorable Andy Williams saying, well, besides the people who are impacted or affected by Hurricane Beryl, because this is targeting the people who lost their homes due to Hurricane Beryl, or whose home was destroyed, mashed up partially, or a roof or whatever. They're targeting them firstly. But he also went on to say, people who desire to have a house like the model one, if you want a house like that, they're speaking to Housing Authority to see if Housing Authority could build that house for you and you pay them. So for example, you might be working and you may have a piece of land or some family land, or some family gave you a piece of land, all right? And you fed up of renting, and your rent may be $1,000. Could be that you're paying a rent right now of $1,000 every month. Few places you can rent for under $1,000. There are some people who might be paying at $800 or a $900, but very few places. But that same $1,000, the Honorable Andy Williams is saying, well, if Housing Authority construct such a home for you, and you can pay them $600 or $700 every month, wouldn't you like that? You would love that, because at the end of the day, you would own your own home. All right? You would own your own home. That is what is important. So they would be targeting people who want a house like that and who can afford, of course, to pay for it. So even if you were not impacted or affected directly by Hurricane Beryl, so you never lost your home because you're renting or whatever, all right, you can still get that opportunity. But firstly, they're dealing with the people who lost their homes, whose house was, damaged, mashed up. So I'm saying it's a very good thing. Very, very, very good thing. That's great. Really wonderful. Because I think I saw somewhere the Honorable Andy Williams said that, and I think it's a good thing. I think when he did that interview, let me look for it. Because when I heard that, I was really, really impressed with the vision. Because it's all good to focus now on the people who were affected by Hurricane Beryl, to build back a house for them. That's great. But you have a lot of people who want to kind of move away from renting and owning their own home in the medium to long term, right? They may not be able to pay $1,500 a month to the bank, but if they can get a nice deal and they can pay $600-700 a month, or that same rent money, pay it every month and own the home at the end of the day, that would be a good thing. I think so.
Good day, guys. Know what? I understand that they have a lot of misinformation outside. The people are just bad mind. Some folk just bad mind. They see something good and they want to just bad mind it. So that's why I'm making it my duty to inform you, the people. Keep you in touch, so you don't have to listen to any fake news and any bad mind news, but you can get it from straight from the horse's mouth, right? So, so by next Friday, this should be complete, and we will invite people to come and view it and come and see it and everything. Yes, we put a tree drawing on Facebook and so for people to see, on the news and so for people to see, but then you can actually come by next week and walk through this building and see what we are talking about. In addition, what the beauty of this project also, it creates employment, because the person who is doing the building here is not a person who is doing the plumbing, and there's not a person who is doing the electrical, and another person who is doing the painting. We could have let one person do everything, but we want to create employment for everyone. So, as I said on news and Facebook and so, we had some guys in the lines already who were on the block linemen, and these guys, we engaged them, and what they did, they formed some teams, and they are out now painting on a daily basis. We are going to engage the plumber and the carpenters on the same lines. Sorry, the plumbers and the electricians from the same guys, from the same lines, and they will be doing electrical and plumbing. So you're talking about guys who could have been just linemen on the block, right? Now they have employment. So when a day comes, they don't have to be just linemen and just not doing anything at all, but they can be working and making an income for themselves and for their families. And it will not stop at the lines. You're talking about going through the length and breadth of Grenada and creating employment for our young people who feel that everything is lost. Because again, not everyone is good in the office and all these things. Some people are just good with their hands, and they're just not given a chance. And sometimes some of what these guys need is just some guidance. So if you have someone who can go out to them and say, hey, listen, we have opportunities that you can take advantage of. This is how you can take advantage of it. And if you can guide them, then you can help them change their ways and help them be on a more positive side. If you do that, then all this gun violence and all these things that you're seeing all over the place, that can stop. Because now the youth see that they have something to live for. They have opportunities that they can take advantage of. And that is the level of hope we want to bring to our constituency and Grenada on a whole. So this project Build Back Better, guys, is not just about building back for after the hurricane, but it's all about also creating employment for people, building more resilient houses, and ensuring that our taxpayers' money can be put into better use, right? So, guys, I don't want to stay long, but you can share the live. Let as much people see as possible. Share, talk about it, spread the news. Tell your friends, tell your family. Let them know what is going on. And last thing before I leave is that this project is for people who got affected by Beryl. But this is such a wonderful project, right? Even though you're not affected by Beryl and you want to purchase one of these homes, I'm speaking to the Housing Authority now so that they can have a provision for people who are not affected that is willing to pay for one of these houses. And as a young professional, if you can get one of these houses and you can pay $500 a month, I'm telling you, this is excellent. It means that, and you can even, as you grow, you can convert this house into a wall and anything you want to do. So that is again is the whole beauty of it. And we are speaking to the Housing Authority, and we will come to an agreement where they can build houses for people, right? So for those who want a house like this. So if you are affected by Beryl, again, what we do, we assist you. You don't have to pay. You don't. So forget the false news was saying that we're charging people for this. No, you don't have to pay once you're affected by Beryl. If you're not affected by Beryl and you want to buy one of these houses, then we are talking to the Housing Authority who can arrange that for you. And that is what we want to do. So, guys, blessed Sunday. When the guys finish here, I'll post some pictures so you can see the progress as we go along. We want to be as transparent as possible. We want to be as transparent as possible. So, blessed Sunday. Stay safe. Share the live.
The project right now is focused on the people who are affected by Hurricane Beryl, whose roof was damaged or destroyed, or home, right? So that's something that you need to bear in mind. It's important. I'm saying again, they're targeting the people who lost their home or their roof. That is who they are targeting now. So you would see in the next 3-4 months, a lot of those houses being built in different places, St. Patrick, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. A lot of that would be happening, right? But people who interested in having one after, as the Honorable Andy Williams said, they would try to work with Housing Authority to see if that can be explored, if that can be done. And that's a good move because it's a stronger wooden house. And let me tell you this, you could get a nice night rest in a wooden house. So the bathroom is concrete. We know that. All right? The steps, concrete. But especially with all the heat and so on, if you're sleeping in a wooden house, from time to time, you're going to get a nice night rest. All the heat and so on, it is not like the concrete. It will take in some of the heat and, the place hot. So it's a good move, a very, very good move. And I want to applaud the government. But you see how they're working. They're working smart. So while the NNP on the other side making all the noise, when they were saying, well, we can't understand why they ain't building this and why they ain't do the thing temporary and why they do a quick thing. But now we are seeing why they want to do the thing right. They want to do the thing proper. Look at how they're cleaning Paradise Beach. They dive in and remove the debris, the galvanize, the wood, all kind of old stuff that end up in the water. That's a very, very good project that they're doing, because people would travel all around the world just to go and experience Paradise Beach in Carriacou and Sandy Island and all those kind of places there. I'm telling you, they will travel all around the world. And you don't want, when they come to enjoy the beach, they start diving and they see in galvanized or lumber and so on, debris in the water, at least the closer end or the close, let's say, 10 feet, 20 feet from the shore. You want to make sure that you remove as much of the debris as possible. And they have undertaken such a project. They've started such a project and it's going good. And that is why I'm saying it is easy to criticize, It's easy to condemn. It's easy to say all kind of bad things about the Honorable Tevin Andrews or the Honorable Andy Williams or the Honorable this or the Honorable that. It is easy. The NNP, they open their mouth and they criticize and they condemn. That's an easy thing to do. But when it comes to doing the work, we are seeing who are the doers and who are the talkers, right? They're not going to join the government to help to clean the waters of the Paradise Beach. They're not going to do that. The government has about 100 people, I think, doing cleanup in Carriacou, collecting the galvanized, collecting the lumber, the debris and all that kind of stuff around people's houses and, along the roadsides and all inside the mangroves, and we can go on and on. They have people working there to clean up. And I heard the Honorable Andy Williams saying that they already got some buyer for the galvanized. Because they could recycle the galvanized. All right? They could recycle that. The thing is zinc, the sheets, zinc sheets. They could recycle that. So they already got a buyer who is willing to take all the galvanized and recycle it. That's a good thing. So they could get back some money. So the government is spending a lot. So they could get back some money. Because remember, they're giving people materials, all right, at concessionary rates or free, some. So if they can organize the galvanized and send it so it can be recycled and so on, clean environment, one, and you make a little money in the process. So the government is at work. They're at work. And mind you, the NDC is also at work. The NDC is not just standing by and not helping. The NDC is a party.
National Democratic Congress, Ron Redhead, on Friday handed over hundreds of personal protective equipment to Deputy Coordinator at the National Disaster Management Agency, Arthur Peer, to assist in the post-burial rebuilding efforts on the sister islands and the mainland. Redhead explained that the gears were donated to the political organization by supporters and groups in the diaspora. Among the donated items are hard hats, gloves, reflective vests, goggles, masks, overalls, and shoes. The intention is to supply gear to those working in the front line to rebuild the islands to ensure they are protected while providing a service.
It is pleasing for us to do so because it will help NADMA to bolster its efforts to currently dealing with the restoration work required in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, St. Patrick's, and Mac, and other areas that got affected. And so the human element of it, to have the men well equipped to be able to fight the disaster restoration work that is required, is certainly something that we are pleased to want to support and provide this assistance to NADMA to do. By and large, it is just one of many which we intend to continue to support government's effort, NADMA, and by extension, every other institution that is required and responsible to assist in restoration work in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, specifically St. Patrick and St. Mark by extension.
Mr. Pierre commended the NDC for the kind gesture and assured that the items will be distributed to assist in the rebuilding and relief efforts.
We want to say thanks, our profound thanks, for all the equipment that you see in front of me and the 3 huge boxes that would contain so many more. We want to say thank you so very much. Indeed, this will assist in the efforts in Carriacou and Petite Martinique, in Grenada, and I'm also looking futuristically with our various districts. Helping to outfit them, providing them with the necessary equipment so that they are able to respond to issues even within their own community outside of Hurricane Beryl.
He said the protective gear will also be given to volunteers under NADMA's Community Emergency Operations Response Teams to guarantee their efficient response during a disaster or emergency in their various communities.
As we train persons, we would like to know that they have equipment, not only just for training, but to be able to respond in the community. So there might be emergencies in the community, and so, sometimes people, they are quick to help, but they don't have the requisite equipment to do so. This here provides them with that, so that one, they could protect themselves while protecting others. So trust me, this will go a long way in terms of responding to issues, to emergencies, and certainly responding to the issues happening in Carriacou and Petite Martinique at this particular time. So thank you so very much on behalf.
Yes, and that's a good move. You see how the NDC operates. Remember, the NNP, they want to go ahead and do their thing for themselves, right? I'm not hearing much about the couple toilets, portable toilets that they brought up to Carriacou. Not hearing too much about that. I'm not hearing too much about the Meals on Wheels initiative. We're not hearing too much about that anymore. They spoke about having a youth brigade to do cleanup and so on. You're not hearing anything much because they don't want to work with the agency responsible in Grenada for relief and rebuilding and recovery efforts. They don't want to do that because they're looking for political mileage. But you have the Honorable Ron Redhead and the NDC. I see Mr. Hazam, right? Hazam there, Rahman. I think he's the General Secretary of the NDC for the Southern District, right? Handing over 3 huge boxes of gears and equipment and other things like that to NADMA, right? That's the agency responsible for disaster management in the country. That's how you do things. Everything doesn't have to be politic and politics where you want to score political points and so on. So I really want to applaud the Honorable Ron Redhead. I really want to applaud Mr. Azam Rahman and the NDC for such a good gesture, and keep doing what you're doing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a good thing. All right? It's a really, really good thing. Thumbs up. That's how you do things. And the folks in the diaspora, because they indicated there that it's people from the diaspora who gave generously towards this undertaking or this gift to NADMA. Big up your whole self. You have always been there for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. I love that. I really love to see that. And I think that's a good way of saying, hey, we could build back this place and forget the politics. You know, we could politic when it comes to politicking. We could do that. We could deal with that. But for now, let's build back Carriacou and Petit Martinique better than before. All right, good. So, folks, we are on the move forward. We are focused. We understand from time to time you have to react to certain things. From time to time, you have to give a job where you're supposed to do so. Sometimes you have to be proactive. We understand all of that. And I said earlier, my back is broad. I've been in talk radio and podcasting for a long time. I'm not new to this. I've been attacked from all different sides and angles, and I'm still standing. What I can tell you is there are some people who are bent on creating mischief. So you have a good project like the Molineux project, where it was very challenging for consultants and builders to really get the thing started. They gone through a lot of hurdles and challenges, and they're at that point where they're almost there. But instead of you highlighting the good things, the wonderful things, the hard work and dedication of the folks working there, trying to build back that road, you will try your best to create panic, to create doubts, to create confusion, to cause people to believe, well, the structural integrity of that road is compromised. That is what they were hoping to achieve. But any reasonable thinking person, anyone who knows about construction, would know that you have to get the solid part, the hard part. To build, you have to meet the solid foundation, requires that. So you remove all the loose top soil and so on, you excavate, you remove that. You either get trucks to carry it from where you're doing the project to another site, to another place, or because it's a precipice, because there was a slide in that area, they decided, well, we're not going to spend $3 or $4 million getting trucks to take that stuff away, and then it will slow down the project. We're going to excavate and we're going to dump the loose soil and so on adjacent to the project or close to the project. And we know over time with rain, over time with sun, rain, the elements, the weather, erosion of that same loose soil that was thrown there. And really and truly, that's the purpose. Yes, you may see it as being next door to the project, but the purpose is really for that thing to go down into the sea. All right? They would have loved for this thing to go straight down into the sea immediately. But it would build up because there's a lot of loose soil. Remember, they found the solid in that place, and then they drove 100 piles, 30 feet long. That's about a 3-story building, 30 feet into the earth, into the solid part. And then they built on top of that. Then they constructed the road on top of that. So there's no need for concern. I didn't have to wait for the official from the project to speak about this, or some expert to speak about this. That's kind of common sense. People who know about building and so on, and people who, assess the situation, you could easily just conclude. But there are some people who are just hell-bent on creating mischief. Mischief. And mind you, a lot of these people, they pretend, they make you believe that they're not supporting the NNP. Right? They make you believe so. They want to fool you. But the majority of these people here, they're part of the opposition force in the country. And their objective is to create doubt in the minds of our people and create confusion. Because to them, when they create bacchanal and confusion, well, a lot of people are going to view them watch their nonsense, and if they have a program or some podcast speaking about something serious, very few people going to view them or follow them. And we have seen that over the many, many years. All right? So it's not surprising. It's not surprising. Drama. Our people, we love drama and a little bacchanal every now and then. Right? We have seen that over and over. But I am saying it is clear, very clear, that a lot of them, they're out for mischief. They're mischief makers. They don't want to see good things happen or good things happen in this country. And we know where they stand politically. The election that gone, we saw what they did politically and who they were actually pushing politically on the political front, and the one before that. But now, government change, so they want to capitalize, they want to get like ads and promo, because that is what they do, to make a money. So they play nice with the government, play nice with this individual or this minister. But deep down, we know where they stand politically. And they're out for mischief. Mischief. That is what they're out for. And many of them, they don't have, the depth. They knew, they're excited. So they would talk. But I am saying, folks, I have been here long enough to know. My back is broad. I've gotten attacks left, right, and center. In fact, right now, the union donkey is at it because the union donkey wants to be relevant. Right? He wants to be relevant. So let him continue to breathe. I am not afraid of those things. I'm accustomed. I know them well. They pretend that they for Grenada and they want to see good, and so no, they have agendas. Because you dare not hear them come out and applaud the government for the good things that they're doing on their platforms and so on. Unless they're forced to. All right? Unless they're forced to. So let us remain focused. Let's do what we got to do. Sometimes you have to pelt a little punch politically. Sometimes you have to be reactive. Sometimes you have to be proactive. Or many times you have to be proactive. But that's what it is. And I have told you many, many years ago, I am not afraid to go down in the mud and deal with the pigs in the mud. Because if you allow the pigs to get into your house, you would have more work to do, even if you get that pig under control. So I am not afraid to do that. All right? So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the PM until 9. So we will continue that mission. We will not cease. We will not stop. Because I know that people who are serious about Grenada, who wants to see good for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, would continue on that path to supporting the government, to supporting the party, to make sure that whatever they do is successful. Right? And we have to keep doing that consistently so.